You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Bruno, who says, please rant about Victor. I assume you're talking about my brother Victor. He is a year and a half younger than me, born in 1993. And, he and I were close pretty much from the start. I mean, being that close in age, and I was a mama's boy. I was, always around. It's not like I had anything else to do other than be around my other brother. I'm sure that when I was watching movies or whatever, he was in the room as well. So, like, most of what was influential to me ended up being influential to him by transitive property. It's not that we didn't have differences in our tastes growing up. We definitely did. We tried to have somewhat different identities, but we were around each other all the time. We did a lot of the same things. We hung out together most of the time. I would say there was not a day that probably ever went by that I never, hung out with Victor by the time that I had at least finished high school. So, obviously we got into plenty of squabbles growing up. He has always been a crybaby. He's always been easy to manipulate. So, there's that. And, when he became a teenager, he kind of got, jacked and became, really angry because of the fact that, he really hated the way that people had treated him all growing up, basically, by taking advantage of the fact that he's a crybaby. So, for a while he was a very angry man, but then when he got with Hope, he kind of mellowed out. Now he's kind of, I really respect that he's actually kept to working in the film field, getting work in the world of, of being like a cinematographer or a cameraman or a director, anything to do with film, is a very mysterious career path. And he's basically been able to get work partially through, mostly through connections to his school, through having gone to college, having worked with people who were doing professional work, in his professors and things like that. And working on lots of productions with basically any place he could, get involved locally. But he's also done tons of other shit that's not, on the same professional level as the stuff that he's done with people in school. But to actually get into that kind of work, it's always vague. You don't know when opportunities are going to arise. Getting consistent gigs, it's not so easy to just make a living doing film work if you're not trying to create your own scripts and have your own self-published career. If your goal is not to be somebody who maybe has a YouTube channel and every week they put out a 3-minute little skit video or something like that, a very traditional old school YouTube. That's a way to promote your own content that you make entirely by yourself, but you don't, you have to get to a pretty high level before you can afford to even work with a crew, and afford the real equipment that real film crews would use, which is what Victor wants to work with, and get real amazing shots, actual work that you're proud of as a cinematographer, not a YouTube video, not filmmaking for the sake of expressing something or being famous or making money as an express concern even, but specifically about being able to get the kind of work you want to do and get paid for it. Victor's found a way to do that on some level, and still have the opportunity to make the kinds of things that he might want to make. And I mean, he's never been somebody who's good at just blank slate coming up with shit so much as he can make, great template movies. And he's won several 48-hour film festivals, I think 3 years running. He's won the local branch of the 48-hour film festival, as best picture. He won best director 2 of those years. So, the boy clearly has talent on making his own original work, but, is nonetheless willing to, grind on just taking kind of whatever bigger productions he can get involved with, and also, funding his life by doing work where he's filming workplace safety videos, and occasionally does weddings and stuff like that. It's just like sideways to get income, and then like sometimes you just suddenly have no work for a couple weeks, and you're like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with my life. I guess I'll play video games and have anxiety. Richard's always struggled with being like an anxious, nervous, angry kind of person. And he doesn't want to be. He wants to be a nice guy. He wants to be, a fun, nice dude. But he has a deep-seated rage bubbling at his core that cannot be tamed. And perhaps one day he will find peace between the extremes. But who knows? Anyway, yeah, he's cool. That's Vic. Hey.